Hey guys, welcome back to Swing Masters. Today we'll talk about how the Open Championship became golf's ultimate international event. Let's head into it. Anointed as the champion golfer of the year, the winner of the Open Championship receives the prestigious Claret Jug and is therefore officially recognized as the sport's top performer. Since its inception in 1860, the Open Championship has indisputably been the world's most prestigious golf tournament. It was just a matter of time until its universe and audience grew. When Willie Parks Sr. and Jr. and Tom Morris Old and Young were banging around Prestwick and Musselburgh in the 1900s, baseball was gaining a following at the local semi-pro level in the United States. There is no exact date of golf's invention. It's possible to argue that the Chinese 1,000 years ago may have been playing a version of golf using snow peas and chopsticks, according to the late, great Dan Jenkins. That golf is unmistakably a Scottish game was Jenkins's main thesis. It was the Scots who grabbed the game and did something with it whilst everyone else was busy creating crossbows, he wrote a few words later. Of the first 55 Open champions, 54 were either Scottish or English, as were the first 29 champion golfers of the year. On the surface, this may not seem like a legitimate world championship of golf. However, until 1914, the island of Great Britain did have the title of World Championship Golf. Despite the fact that the US Open was first contested in 1895, 35 years after the inaugural Open, all 16 of the tournament's previous champions were Brits. The 1913 US Open victory of Francis Ouimet didn't startle the sports world because he won the tournament. Harry Vardon, a Brit, and Ted Ray, an Englishman, were the two men he overcame to win the Open Championship in 1936. Nobody knows John McDermott because he defeated other Americans to win the US Open in 1911 and 1912. When Ouimet triumphed, the American players on the field understood precisely what it meant to defeat English greats. A 20-year-old stranger approached veteran McDermott before the start of the tournament at the country club and introduced himself as Walter Hagen from Rochester and said, "I've come to help you boys take care of Vardon and Ray." In April 1917, the United States joined the war effort for the first time. When war broke out in Europe, Hagen was able to acquire tournament experience at a time when practically everyone in Britain was involved in the fight against the Axis powers. In addition to his victory in the 1914 US Open, Hagen also advanced to the second round of the first PGA Championship, which he lost in a playoff to Jack Nicklaus in 1916. Golf in the United States picked up in 1919 after the country had dodged the brunt of the war, and Hagen was once again the US Open champion. The Great War came to an end on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. In 1920, the Open was relaunched. The circulation director of the American edition of Golf Illustrated came up with the notion of a public subscription to pay for the journey of 12 outstanding American professionals to St. Andrews, the 1921 host location. Jock Hutchison, who was born in St. Andrews but had now become a naturalized American citizen, won the Open Championship. There had never been anybody like him before. For a long time, prize money in professional golf was quite low. The 1914 US Open win earned Hagen $300 in prize money. In the early stages of his professional golf career, De Hague realized that exhibitions were the best way to generate money. As a result of Hagen's victory at St. George's, the Open was able to broaden its appeal to a wider range of golfers from all corners of the globe. Arthur Havers, the only non-US champion until 1934, beat him by one stroke at Troon the following year. Hagen was the pre-television equivalent of Arnold Palmer. To what extent American players dominated the Open in the 1920s and early 1930s after the war is controversial. For many years, Jim Barnes had resided in the United States where he was born and raised. Although he grew up in Edinburgh and fought in the Black Watch during the First World War, Tommy Armour spent much of his adult life in the United States. Both Gene Sarazen and Denny Shute were born in New York and developed the sand wedge the same year. There were 12 American champions in 13 years if Hutchison, Barnes, and Armour were included in the US mix. The Open's worldwide expansion may be seen even if these three are excluded. All of a sudden, it was over in a matter of seconds. After winning the Grand Slam in 1930, Jones hung up his racket and walked away from the sport. Hagen's victory in the Open in 1929 was the last major of his career. Traveling to Britain was difficult, and the prize money remained low, so fewer Americans participated. Dick Burton won the 1939 Open, although Johnny Buller, a great American player, finished second place. After Burton's victory, Hitler's army launched its conquest of Europe 2 months later. For 6 years, the Open was put on hold for yet another Great War. During the reign of the championship in 1946, it became the world's most popular sporting event. After World War I, an increasing number of overseas players made their mark on the Open, much like the Americans did. Players from outside the United Kingdom and the United States dominated the game between 1949 and 1965. In 17 years, international players won 12 times, from Argentina to Spain to Ireland to Sweden. There were a slew of champions from across the world in the Open Championships. For as long as there has been a global championship, the Open has never stopped growing. In fact, it was Hagen and Jones that pushed the Open to become an international event. Congratulations, sirs. What do you think about the Open? Let us know in the comment section. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure that you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.